I found the RF lens that you're not going to be worried about because it's not $4,000 like all of the other ones. This right here is the 28mm f2.8. Now I've tested this thing out over the past month where I was on the back of a Vietnam motorcycle, in night markets in Thailand, and through an earthquake in the Philippines. So this thing's got some dust on it, got some scratches on it, but it's still working really well. And it's safe to say that this is going to be with me in those everyday moments that I've been craving to capture. It's safe to say after using this thing for a month, there is dust in every part of the exterior of this lens. And I wasn't really nervous about it. I was maybe a little worried about the R5, like my R5 I'm shooting on right now is very dirty. I'm gonna need to get it professionally cleaned, but this thing, it allowed me to shoot high quality video and photo through all these various conditions and also fit in a little bag. But before we talk about that, let's talk specs. Specs, there's not much to really say about this lens. It's a 28mm full frame lens, so if you shoot on an R5 like me, it is going to give you the full sensor, the full 28mm, and then you can also crop in, which will be nice. It's an f2.8. And look how funny it looks with the little bit of glass on the front of the lens. Like, I'm not crazy about it, but it really doesn't make any difference in my mind. The autofocus is good, but not great, but it's amazing for a lens that's gonna come in at $300. And yes, this lens is $300 and it's a full frame RF lens. Yeah, we never thought we would get that ever, but this thing is super small, and it reminds me, and it's pretty much a replica of those EF pancake lenses that some people loved, some people hated, but they were super small and good for the everyday moments. The problem we always ran into with those though is that they were crop sensor lenses, so if I put one of those on my Canon R5, I was going to be dealing with a 1.6, 1.8 crop. But since this is full frame, I don't really have to worry about that, and it's still the same size. This is the 24mm EF pancake lens. This is the 28mm RF. They're the same size. There's no difference, but this one's crop sensor, this one's full frame, so this one's a lot better. A few other things is it does not have image stabilization, but it does have a control ring. Something I've grown to love about these RF lenses is the control ring. I set it up with the ISO, but it's a little bit different on this lens. There is manual focus on one side, and then you have control in the middle, and then autofocus on the other side. So you have to pick between which one you're using. Like, you can't do the control and manual focus at the same time. But it is nice to still have the option to control whatever you have it set up to be, and then you can still quickly change your ISO or your white balance, whatever you decided to use for your own setup. But I really enjoyed having this, and I didn't expect it, and I didn't even realize that it had that until after I bought the lens. Now, why did I even buy this lens in the first place? So long story short, I was on a month-long trip to Southeast Asia that you've heard me talk about, and the only lens I brought was my RF 24-70, which in most cases is a small lens, and small enough that I don't really have to worry about it. But carrying it around in a situation that I wasn't really shooting professionally and I just wanted shots for myself, it felt too big, and there's not really many other ways to stand out as, hey, I'm a tourist, than having a huge cinema grade camera on your hip. Like, I don't want to do that. So I wasn't carrying it anywhere. I was just taking my little point and shoot camera around, but it was driving me crazy not getting any video. So we finished up in Bali, we went to Singapore. In Singapore, they had camera stores. There was actually a camera store attached to my hotel, which was really nice. So we went in, and after considering whether I should buy a small Sony camera or buy a new lens, I ended up coming to the lens. The criteria was, I wanted it to fit in this little sling bag. I opted to buy this $300 lens to put on my Canon R5, which I was comfortable using. In case you're curious, this is kind of the size that it was. So this is the EOS R, which is a little bit smaller than the R5, but I was walking around with this setup pretty much the entire trip after we left Singapore. But this right here, being able to give you cinema quality footage, I mean, I can't believe it. This is what people would have dreamt of years ago, and the fact that I can be shooting 8K if I want to is pretty nuts. But this right here could fit right in the bag, and I could have this on my side and not have my camera out at all times. I could just grab it when I wanted it, put it away when I don't want it. that was super nice to have and not really have to worry about it with a super small setup. So how will I be using this lens moving forward? Obviously, the 24-70 is a better option than the 28mm day to day, but I'm still going to be using this for everyday moments. I've been wanting a camera that I can shoot good video with in my day-to-day life, but not really have to worry about it too much and not have it be a big rig. So that's what this is going to be. And on my trip, I used this for every single one of those video postcards that you saw. So this idea came from Adrian Purr, who's just taken over the entire filmmaking space on social media. I appreciate you for inspiring me to actually capture video on my trip. But moving forward, I'm gonna have this thing on me for little moments. Like I went to a Christmas market the other night with my girlfriend and I took it there. Meanwhile, I would have never taken a camera to a market like that in the past, let alone a camera that can shoot video. And just knowing that I can have the camera on me that can shoot the highest quality that I want just makes me feel really good. Do I recommend this lens? I definitely do. Will it replace my 24-70? Absolutely not, but it's super small and great for day-to-day moments. Thank you for watching, and here are a couple photos from the past week. Maybe some videos. I'll show you some videos from this lens. Peace.